On July 14th, 2024, at my own dinner table in my own house, my son-in-law looked me dead in the eye and said, "Be grateful we tolerate you. Now go to your room. Adults are talking." I'm Monica Grace. I'm 62 years old. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I looked at my daughter, my only child, waiting for her to say something, anything. She stared at her plate like it was the most interesting thing in the world. I stood up, walked to my front door, and made a phone call that changed everything. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, because you need to understand how a woman can become invisible in her own home. How it happens so slowly, you don't even realize you're disappearing until one day you look in the mirror and you're gone. If you're listening from somewhere far away, drop your city in the comments so I can see how far this has traveled. And please stay with me until the end. My name is Monica Elaine Grace. I was born in Oakland, California in 1962. My grandmother raised me after my mama passed when I was 7. Grandma Essie taught me 2 things. How to make cornbread that makes people weep and how to never let anyone make you small in your own house. I wish I'd remembered that second lesson sooner. The kitchen clock read 4:17 p.m. when I started on the collard greens. Sacramento in July is like standing in front of an open oven. Even with the AC running, sweat was already beading on my forehead as I washed the greens in my sink. The same sink my late husband Marcus had installed in 1997 saying, "Monica, you're going to cook miracles in this kitchen. You need a proper sink for it." Marcus had been gone 4 years, 2 months, and 6 days. But I still heard his voice every time I stood at this counter. I had chicken marinating in buttermilk, mac and cheese waiting to go in the oven, cornbread batter sitting in my grandmother's yellow mixing bowl, the one she'd carried from Georgia in 1963. I was making Tyler had only told me yesterday we were having a few people over. Not asked, told. My hands moved through the motions, stemming greens, dicing onions, measuring out seasonings, while my arthritis sent little lightning bolts of pain up my wrists. I'd been cooking since I was tall enough to reach the stove. Some days I loved it. Today it felt like I was preparing a feast for people who'd forgotten I existed. The house was quiet except for the sound of the television upstairs. Tyler and my daughter Diane were in what used to be Marcus's office, what Tyler now called our bedroom. I could hear them laughing at something on the screen. Nobody had come downstairs to ask if I needed help. Nobody had come downstairs at all. I looked around my kitchen, really looked at it. The curtains I'd sewn in 2015, the little herb garden on the windowsill that I watered every morning. The photo of Marcus and me at Lake Tahoe, his arm around my shoulders, both of us grinning like we'd won the lottery. We'd bought this house in 1995 for $187,000. It was worth probably close to $650,000 now, though I'd never had it officially appraised. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath California bungalow in Land Park, one of Sacramento's nicest neighborhoods. We'd painted every wall ourselves, refinished the hardwood floors on our hands and knees, planted the Japanese maple in the front yard for our 10th anniversary. This house was mine legally, financially, emotionally mine. So, when did I start feeling like a guest in it? I wiped my hands on my apron, the one that said Grandma's Kitchen that Diane had given me 6 years ago, back when she still called me Mama, and walked to the bottom of the stairs. "Diane," I called up. "Honey, you said Tyler's friends are coming at 6. Silence. "Diane." The TV volume went down slightly. "Yeah, Ma. Should I expect? 6 o'clock. A pause, then Tyler's voice. Not Diane's. "Not sure, Monica. Maybe 8. 10. Just make enough for everyone. Just make enough for everyone." Like I was the caterer, not the woman who owned the house. I closed my eyes and counted to 5. It was a trick my therapist had taught me during grief counseling after Marcus died. Count to 5. Breathe. Decide if this is worth the fight. It wasn't. It never was. "Okay," I said. "I'll make plenty." Nobody said thank you. I went back to my kitchen and pulled out 2 more packages of chicken from the freezer. 3 years earlier, I'd been outside watering my roses when my phone rang. It was a Saturday morning, and the garden was my sanctuary. Marcus had died 8 months before. Sudden heart attack, gone before the paramedics arrived. And the roses were the only thing that made me feel close to him. He'd planted them for our 25th anniversary. A rose for every year, he'd said. And I'll plant more every year until we're old and gray. We never made it to old and gray. My phone lit up with Diane's name. I set down the hose and answered, already smiling. My daughter called me every Saturday morning like clockwork. Hey, baby girl, how she was crying before I could finish. Mama. Her voice was broken, wrecked. Mama, we need help. I sat down on the porch steps, my heart hammering. What's wrong? Are you hurt? Is it Jasmine? No, we're okay physically. Mama, Tyler's business collapsed. Everything's gone. Sterling Construction, Tyler's company. He'd started it 5 years ago, and for a while it had been doing well. Good enough that they'd bought a house in Elk Grove, a nice 4-bedroom with a pool. Good enough that Diane had quit her job as a dental hygienist to help with the books. What do you mean gone? Diane's words tumbled out in a rush. There was a lawsuit, a big commercial job. Something went wrong. The client sued, and then the insurance didn't cover everything,
Exhausted.
And then we found out her
Tyler's
hair,
partner had
usually
been-
perfectly straightened and styled, was pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. She'd lost weight. I could tell even from a distance. And then Jasmine climbed out of the back seat. 12 years old, tall for her age with her daddy's height and her mama's eyes. My grandbaby. I met them at the door with a smile. Welcome home. Diane fell into my arms and cried. Just stood there in the doorway and sobbed like a little girl. I held her tight, rubbing her back the way I'd done when she was small and had nightmares. Tyler shook my hand. His grip was firm, almost too firm. Miss Grace, I can't tell you how much we appreciate this. It's temporary. I've got some leads on jobs, and I'm going to rebuild the business, and we'll be out of your hair before you know it. Take your time, I said. Family helps family. Jasmine hugged me around the waist. I missed you, Grandma. Missed you too, baby. I made your favorite for dinner. Macaroni and cheese with the breadcrumbs on top. Her face lit up. The first genuine smile I'd seen from any of them. We spent that evening unloading the U-Haul. They didn't have much. A lot of their furniture had been sold to pay debts. What they had left fit in the 2 spare bedrooms in the garage. That night, we ate dinner together at my table. Potatoes, I'd made a
beans,
roast comfort food. We talked and laughed, and for the first time since Marcus died, the house felt alive again. Diane squeezed my hand. Thank you, Mama. You're saving our lives. Tyler raised his glass of sweet tea. To Ms. Grace, to family, to fresh starts. We clinked glasses. I should have noticed that he called me Ms. Grace, not Mama, not Mom, not even Monica. At that point, I should have noticed a lot of things. Month 1. That first month, they were grateful. Diane helped with dishes. Tyler fixed a leaky faucet in the hall bathroom, something I'd been meaning to call a plumber for. Jasmine set the table without being asked. We fell into a routine. I cooked breakfast. Diane cleaned up. I did laundry on Tuesdays. Diane folded. Tyler mowed the lawn every Saturday morning. It felt good. It felt right. Tyler had job interviews. 3 the first week, 2 the second. Each time he came home, his face was a little more drawn, his shoulders a little more slumped. They say I'm overqualified, he told us at dinner one night. Or they want someone younger, or they've already filled the position. Diane reached across the table and squeezed his hand. Something will come through. I said, don't give up. The right opportunity will come. He looked at me with something I couldn't quite read in his eyes. Yeah, thanks, Ms. Grace. Month 3. That's when Tyler came to me about the creditors. I was in the garden again, always the garden, when he found me. He stood with his hands in his pockets, looking uncomfortable. Grace, can I talk to you about something? Of course. What's on your mind? He sat down on the porch steps. We got a letter from the lawyers, the ones handling the business bankruptcy. They're saying we still owe $35,000 to creditors that weren't covered in the filing. If we don't pay, they'll garnish Diane's wages when she finds work. They might even come after you since we're living here. Can they do that? I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to risk it. He looked at me directly. I hate to ask this. I hate it. But is there any way you could help us with this? We'd pay you back every cent. I'm starting to get some contract work lined up, small jobs, and once I get the money coming in, How much do you need? 35,000. I know it's a lot. I held up my hand. Let me check my accounts. Marcus left me comfortable. I can do it. The relief on his face was genuine. Grace, I can't tell you what this means. We'll pay you back. I promise within 2 years with interest. Family doesn't charge family interest. Then we'll pay you back the principal. I'll write up an IOU. Make it official. That's not necessary. I trust you. He stood and shook my hand again. You're saving our lives again. The next day, I went to my bank and withdrew $35,000 from my savings account. Marcus had left me $347,000 in savings, plus the house paid off, plus his life insurance, plus my own retirement from Morrison Healthcare Solutions. I'd been the marketing director there for 18 years before I retired in 2020. We were comfortable. $35,000 was a lot, but we could spare it. I wrote the check to Tyler Sterling on September 17, 2021. I took a photo of it with my phone. Old insurance habits die hard. Marcus had always said, document everything, Monica. Paper trail is your best friend. Tyler took the check and hugged me. Actually hugged me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Diane cried when he told her. She came to my room that night and sat on my bed like she used to when she was little. Mama, I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to thank me, baby. That's what family is for. We'll pay you back every penny. I know you will. She hugged me goodnight. That was the last time she called me Mama for a while. Month 6, Christmas came and I'd bought presents for everyone. A new drill set for Tyler. He'd mentioned his old tools were in storage, a beautiful silk scarf for Diane, a laptop.